So, welcome to the session, and we'll go some stats first. So, do you know, how much data we are actually generating every day? It's almost, millions of days of, video content. Like World Economic Forum predicted in 2019, by 2025, we'll be creating 463 exabytes of data every day, which is equivalent to 17 million plus days of video content. So currently we are around 328. So we are almost going to reach that. So the point is like data is everywhere. And if you see one of the famous quote from Gartner, Peter, information is the oil of the 21st century, and analytics is a combustion engine. So he sums up nicely, reminding us that the information and analytics must go hand in hand in order to produce meaningful insights. So about me, I'm Ugandhar Dasi, working as a principal at T-Mobile in data and AI space, and currently driving a couple of data and AI projects, including data analytics with Gen AI. So that's where I'm trying to share some of my learnings with you guys. And I have a master's in data science as well as one in biotech too, which is odd. And recently finished a 1 year program at Stanford University, and I'm part of active, the advisory board member for Databricks. It's a company, and most importantly, a lifelong learner like most of you. So let's dive into first, what is data analytics, right? So data analytics is a process of, examining raw data to find patterns and to draw conclusions and make informed decisions. It's same as like a detective who is actually looking for clues to find to investigate something. So similarly, as a data scientist or as a data analyst, we spend a lot of time in analyzing the data. So how we do that? So first we collect the data from various sources, like it can be a system or a survey or a sensor, and then we clean the data to make sure it's accurate and free of errors. And then we analyze it using some tools, to find patterns and insights. And finally, we communicate, we interpret the results so that the business user can make the decisions. So this is the data analytics on a high level, because I know some folks are new to this concept, so that's why I'm going into deep on this. So what's the problem? Okay, data analytics is there, but what is the problem? The actual problem, right? So most of the companies have a lot of data, and Forrester research said that most of the companies still never analyze their whole data, like up to 70%, which is strange. And like the industry experts can definitely chime in on that. And apart from that, visual based dashboards are still one of the primary ways user monitor and get the data. Like when I started my journey almost 20 years back, there were reports being generated for users, now also being generated, and that's the primary way. And this is, without, if you're not exploring the full potential of the data, a lot of companies are losing revenue, and the whole economy is almost losing 3 trillion per year. So this is from IDS research. So the bottom line is most of the companies are still missing a lot of revenue opportunities because the decisions are being delayed. So now we know the problem statement. Now we know how much data is being generated within the company, outside of the company. Now see how Gen AI, right? So Gen AI can come and help in some sort of the way. So let's go. What is Gen AI, right? So some of you know, some may not. So it's a kind of technology, new AI technology that can create new content like text, images, or videos, even music. So how it works? It works same as like our human, like was humans, right? So we learn, we read books, we watch content, and then we learn things from it. The same way, the AI machine, the AI models go through training. It's called training. So it goes through training and then it understands, okay, this is how things work, this is how I need to correlate. So it works in the same way how we think. So examples are like, the LLMs, or here a new concept, large language model. So GPT you guys are using, and we know the chat GPT, the revolution. So it's an LLM. So LLM is an AI model that can predict, and that can draw pictures, that can compose music. It's all based on what it learned in the past and what it was, went through the training. So that's hope, hope it's clear what is Gen AI and what is LLM. So now, okay, so we know the data is there and we have to do data analytics. Now, how Gen AI can come into picture, right, to help this? So this is a flow chart, of the detailed steps that we have to follow in order to produce insights out of the data using Gen AI or large language models. So, definitely LLMs, personally I've been using it to extract data. It's a great technology and definitely it enhances data analytics and it can solve the real problem what we have. Like most of the companies is not using their full potential of data. So that definitely will solve, with this technology. So we'll go through some steps on how how we can use it so that you know the foundational knowledge. So the first step definitely for any effort, right? So we need to define the object. Okay, what I'm trying to going to get. Okay, I'm trying to predicting whether a customer will go away, or I'm trying to generate new content, or I'm trying to classify something. So what is that business problem you're going to solve? So define it, very precisely, and have alignment with everyone. Hey, this is what we are trying to do. This is what we will be using it, and these are the measures, right? So once we know that, we will go into the data collection, right? So we need to collect the data. What data is needed? What which systems we need to pull the data from? So you will use all the the traditional ETL tools or multiple ways you can extract the data from systems. So use the best for what the team is using, what your company is allowed to do. So that's data collection and preparation. And data collection preparation in data science is that the most majority of the step that 80% of the data scientist time goes in preparing the data, collecting the data, making it accurate, cleaning it. So that it's a very crucial step, and you can't go with saying, hey, I will run it for whole day. It won't work. And then it comes, third step, model selection. So there are plenty of models, open source models, commercial models. You go to Hugging Face, you see tons of models. So we need to choose the right model for the right use case. So it depends on, like, whether should I use the Open API or the Meta Llama or the Google Gemini. So it depends on, like, what model do we need to for the respective use case. So you select the model and then you train the model. So this is a very crucial step. You train the model so that it knows what it has to do. So it's your data, your company's data. The LLM might not be trained with that data. So we have to fine tune the model with the respective data set so that it can give proper insights, the relevant data. And there are multiple tools, to fine tune, and that is where the NVIDIA, excels. The compute machines, we need compute machines there, and cloud is what most of the organizations use. And then next comes to the evaluation and validation. So we need to make sure the model is, doing what it has to do, so that it's not doing any bias or it doesn't hallucinate. So model evaluation and validation is part of, your traditional ML, even for the Gen AI LLM too, because we don't know what it was trained on, and we just trained it. So we need to make sure it is working for our needs. And then you deploy it the way how the regular machine learning models you deploy. So same way you deploy, like the containerize it and then you deploy. And finally you monitor and then maintain, and you connect it with whatever the business front end tools are. So it's a part of traditional process too. So these are very high level overview, step by step, if you really want to do. So, but in reality, because it's a new technology, we don't want to spend too much effort and time to go through this very defined process. So usually what we do a small POCs in the in any organization, we start with a small pilot. Hey, let's try with a small thing, whether it's working or not, whether it's giving the relevant content or not. So here I was trying yesterday with, hey, this is a table, a bakery sales table. So it has when the sales happen, what's the store city, and then what's the goods, and then how many amounts are sold. So this is a table. If my boss or if my leader want, hey, what's the sales per month, then usually what you go and write a SQL query, right? Select sum of total sold, group by month, so that's a typical SQL query you go and write in your database. So here what we did, so this is just a small UI interface. So you go and ask a question the same way how we are asking, Copilot or ChatGPT. Hey, what are the total sales breakdown by month in 2023? So we already, like, I set this up with the LL in the backend and connected to the database. All the authentication is done, prerequisite. So it goes, it checks the database and it creates a query and then it gives a result. So this is the beauty of LLM, that as a user, I really don't need to write a query. It just, if I know English, this is NLP based data analytics. So you write natural language, what are the total sales breakdown by month in 2023? So it's a clear instructions to the LLM that give me the sales in the by month in 2023. So it go and run and it gives you the monthly sales. So this is the this is the technological advancements that I've been looking for from last like facing this thing for 20 years. And this is what it happens in the backend. So it goes and it will give you, hey, this is the action I'm going to do. This is the input, going into the database, and this is the output it is coming. So you will have the trace of what activity is doing. So it's a kind of, it shows you what it is doing when you run it. So that's good to have in order to see whether it's writing the right query or not, and then you tweak it accordingly. So that's a small. I couldn't do demo, but I just took some snapshots. So it's you saw the how we can revolutionize data analytics with LLMs. Now, is everything good? Don't we have any challenges in industry? No, we do have challenges, plenty. So some of the key ones, at least based on the experience I had, or based on what people talk. So let's go through some of them. So data availability. So data is like abundant, but do we have the right data at the right time with high quality? So that's a challenge. It's a regular data analytics challenge. And second, with LLMs, hallucinate, right? So if they were not trained on a certain element, they try to predict, or they try to estimate, or they just say bluff it. Hey, it doesn't say may, I don't know. So it all depends on how it was trained on. But LLMs does have limitations, right? So even the token limit, you can't put whole 200 pages document in LLM and ask for a summarization. There are token limits. Go through the architecture of LLMs. There is a, even for us, right? We can't put our brain for 20 hours of reading, right? We need breaks. We need content in chunks. Same way LLMs do have limitations, and they do hallucinate. It's not perfect. We need to make sure they are doing the right thing. So as a humans, we need to validate that. And ethics, it's a very growing concern. A lot of compliances, and we don't know how it was trained on, whether it is biasing or not. If you're running an LLM through maybe a resume checker, whether it's biasing any certain type of people. So that's the ethical part of the AI. It's also a growing segment, and it's a very critical segment too. And other is security. So yeah, AI comes with some risk like this security, and all companies have a lot of data with them, company data, proprietary data, customer data, very sensitive data. How much is being exposed to the LLMs? So that's a big open question in the industry, that we need to be very cautious on what is being sent to LLM, how it is being protected within the organization. So we don't go and put an open source LLM and connect the API directly to the company data. So that as a as a going to be a data scientist, so this is a very critical thing. What we can expose to these, how we do so, that is a very good thing to keep in mind. And finally, the most important, money, return on investment. Whatever the company is spending on the money, are we getting the output? Are we getting the returns on it? So most of the data science projects end up not giving ROIs. So that is the reason, right? So it's a kind of experimentation a lot. That is the reason we do POCs first. We do some pilots. We run on some small data sets. We run for particular batches and see, hey, is everything is working? This is what it takes. This is what it costs. If it makes sense, if it gives you, the relevant output or the dollar value, then we could go for it. So that's the ROI. So the same thing. So these are some of the things that we can make sure, like the data, right? So data is available and make sure it is of high quality, because whatever goes, garbage goes in, garbage goes out. So we need to make sure that data we are sending to the AI is of high quality, and without errors, because data preparation is a crucial step. And the limitations, right? So we don't run the GPT 30, 40 billion, 30 billion parameter with the with the data set. So just use proper techniques to use what is needed. We don't need a big hammer for a small thing. So just if it can be done with a finger, use that. So use smaller models or domain specific LLMs. And for hallucination bias, make sure we train it, we fine tune it. There are a couple of ways when to do pre-training, when to do fine tuning, when do we need to do rack-based training. So there is a flow chart on that too. This is also a very evolving field. Even prompt, you can train the model while even prompting itself. Hey, you're just think about this, just have these boundaries. So that is in prompt learning. And evaluate, right? Evaluate, measure it to make sure it is not violating an ethical. Okay. So private security endpoints and KPIs are the main things. And closing thoughts, yeah, be curious, field is evolving. Build strong foundations. So make sure you while in the college, while you have in this mode, learn SQL, learn Python, and network, and take risk. Enjoy. World is all waiting for you guys. So I don't know how much time we have, but yeah, if there are any questions, we can talk.